Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally happened. Rachel Maddow has officially been dropped, not only from her daily show, so she's now only once a week on MSNBC, but she's being dropped and replaced by, well, let's see, she's being replaced by Alex Wagner, who had a show canceled several years back, but they're trying to find a replacement, perhaps somebody more objective, or perhaps somebody that people aren't tired of. Rachel Maddow has for years said that Trump is on the ropes. The walls are closing in any day now. They found his tax returns. The Kremlin has something on Trump. We don't know what. Mueller will find out. Every day they're investigating Trump for some diabolical scheme, some criminal activity that's just beyond the horizon. One day, Maddow and MSNBC and CNN will find the criminal activity. We don't know when, but it'll happen soon. I mean, there's only so much of Rachel Maddow that you can endure before just rolling your eyes, or even if you're like a CNN watching, MSNBC watching millennial, and that is a category that has declined. They've lost actually about 45, according to Forbes. MSNBC ratings fell 46%, and CNN's 54%. That's across the board in March. But I mean, in some demographics, in certain shows, they've lost like 50, 60, 70% in terms of their audience. And it's only going to get worse because people are tired. Even the left is tired. Like, I'm a conservative on a lot of things now. I support Trump and DeSantis because I want a great economy and a great foreign policy. That helps the world a lot more than the chaos and mayhem and madness on the left. All they know how to do is yell and scream and 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 pout and intimidate and try to marginalize anyone who disagrees with them. They'll scream at the top of their lungs. They think they can get away with rampant criminal activity by throwing incendiary devices into buildings throughout the country, in Michigan, in Colorado, in New York, and also in Wisconsin. You had buildings destroyed by pro-choice demonstrators and groups linked to the Democratic Party without any condemnation, zero condemnation from Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff or Kinzinger or Liz Cheney or any of the Democrats that pontificate. No condemnation also of demonstrators that tried to infiltrate the Arizona State Senate the other night. They are literally the embodiment of everything they accuse Trump of being. And Trump hasn't been indicted or charged with any crime. And there's a chance that they indict Trump just because they're so desperate, because they lost Roe v. Wade, and that was the main fear tactic to vote Democrat. And they did this to themselves when they cheated Bernie Sanders. I'm working on an article on that very issue, that very topic, that, they can't look in the mirror. They can't see that they cheated the only chance that they had. Now, I like Trump, DeSantis. I'm never voting. I can't imagine myself ever voting again for Democrats. But Bernie Sanders at that moment in time would have won. He would not have had a letter from Comey to completely derail his campaign. It was James Comey that derailed Clinton's campaign. Okay? And that wouldn't have happened. Democrats, had they put their entire might behind Bernie Sanders, who did better against Trump, because seeing that the DNC email showed the primary is a complete farce. They don't actually even have a primary. Actually, DNC lawyers admitted that in court. They could pick their candidate in smoke-filled back rooms. Okay? They don't even have a functioning primary. It's a complete theatrical performance. And so then they fall back on, well, the best person won. No, the best person did not win. For that year, no, 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 no. Interestingly enough, I think there should be a Hillary Trump 2024, Hillary DeSantis 2024. But anyway, they would not have lost, in my view. I think Trump would have narrowly lost to Bernie Sanders at that moment. I'm not talking about the Bernie Sanders of today, who has been a tool of the Democratic Party and refused to even acknowledge he was cheated for the past 6 years. I'm talking about that moment in time, lightning in a bottle, that moment in time, the moment in time. There's a song. What song am I? One moment in time. I don't even I'm trying to think of the song. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I've taken a couple days off from there. And the Bitcoin Crash channel, I've taken a couple days off from those channels, and I'm going to continue trying to grow them this next couple of months, the next year. So tomorrow I will be back on those channels also, but I will have a live stream tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have a live stream tomorrow at around 8 p.m. Pacific. So be here for the live stream at about 8 p.m. Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. But there's Maddow fatigue. MSNBC and CNN are losing viewers. Fox News is far ahead of them. The country is actually becoming more conservative on a lot of things because, like, for example, when I was on the left, just wanted to ban fracking. No idea how that would increase exponentially gas prices and energy prices. And I didn't like fossil fuels and I wanted to save the planet. I had no idea how it is impossible to run an economy on renewables. I didn't care. I had no clue how diesel, like why diesel fuel, diesel exhaust fluid, we have a shortage on that. But I had no clue that diesel fuel runs the United States economy. I was just on the left saying working class and wealth inequality, and I didn't realize the policies on the left make things worse, exponentially worse. They created the inflation. They literally created the inflation. $10 trillion in fiscal and monetary stimulus combined. They shut down businesses and then pumped money and then completely obliterated supply and demand projections for fossil fuel industry and commodity-based industries like oil and gas. Then they made it more difficult for these oil and gas companies to operate. Then the oil and gas associations and 14 states sued Mashed Potato Brain Joe's administration. And within the lawsuits, they say, here are your policies making it infinitely more difficult to do business and making it more expensive, making the fuel prices more expensive. Okay? Once diesel gets to $8 to $9, we're not only going to have a prolonged recession, but we could be flirting with something much worse. Much, 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 much worse. So this is a serious, serious issue in terms of the economy. But like you can't what MSNBC is faced with is an economic catastrophe, along with a terrible defeat by the Supreme Court. They're calling the Supreme Court illegitimate. They want to abolish the Supreme Court. They want to pack the court. You can't accuse Trump of tarnishing norms and guidelines and promoting distrust in institutions, democratic institutions, all these dumb like accusations of he promotes distrust in our institutions. You mean the intelligence agencies that always lie? Oh, that's okay. But not the Supreme Court. If he didn't like if Trump was struck down by the Supreme Court a lot of times, numerous times, but he didn't say it's illegitimate. And you can't go from the Supreme Court is illegitimate to watching Maddow talk about how he's undermining democracy. You just can't go from one to the other. Okay, no sane person, even the ideologues on the left, even the people who disown friends and family because they voted for Trump, you just can't go like a ping pong ball back and forth to Trump is a menace to the rule of law, and oh, by the way, let's abolish the Supreme Court. It's not happening. It's just not going to work out, okay? So it's just not going to work out. So Maddow, like the people at MSN, I've been on MSNBC and CNN. They're actors. They're like performance artists. What they do is promote as much tribalism and disdain for Republicans as possible. That actually doesn't really, that happens on a couple of channels on Fox News. But most of Fox News isn't like that, actually. Okay, it's actually very different from the way it used to be. But MSNBC, CNN, it's the same. It's like they're extensions of the Democratic Party. And you have a media apparatus. It's a public relations monstrosity that's failing. And it's like they're going to get completely obliterated in the midterms. So you have midterm defeats ahead, and you have the country becoming more conservative on a lot of things, Second Amendment included, because it's actually one of the enumerated rights within The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the procedure that was given to the states is not mentioned in the Constitution. That's the issue. Give me your thoughts below. Maddow is now once a week dropped and replaced by another TV host, and MSNBC is just going to continue to take the same trajectory as the Democratic Party. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Thank you.